Hey, it's Merja here. Good to be here with you today. Welcome to today's Q&A. I have been challenged, apologies for the wind if you're hearing it. I've been challenged to show a little bit more about my lifestyle and my environment. And here we are. So I'm in the paddock. So I'm out of the stuffy office. I'm here in the paddock. This is where I live. And you may see some horses there. And yeah, this is the kind of environment in which I live and do most of my creative work, and it's a pleasure to introduce you to that space. Thank you for being here with me today. So today we have several questions that have come up. I'm super excited to get into it. And the first question is, what is something that you love doing that you can do for hours and days? Well, I guess that question was answered. Can be answered very easily. Those of you who know me, I'm big into horses. I have an equine science degree, an agricultural science degree, and I have been working with horses for 25 plus years. So I've basically been riding for over 30 years, and horses are something that I could just do days in end. And interesting thing is that some of you know that one of our horses, Red, passed away some weeks ago, and we now have a new horse. We haven't named her yet, but over the last 4 days, I had to go and pick her up because she was an unhandled horse, so she was very scared of everything and not experienced in anything. And asking horses to go into a trailer is like asking them to go into a metal cave on wheels. And of course, if you know anything about horses, you know that the horses are a prey animal, and their natural predator is the mountain lion. And where does the mountain lion live? In a cave. So, hi Chris, good to see you here. So yeah, so it was a big ask to ask a young horse, an inexperienced horse, to go into a trailer so that I can drive her home. She's been with her herd for the last 6 years, with her mother. So it's overall a big deal. And what I did was on Sunday, so today is Thursday. So on Sunday I went and played with her the whole day. It was very dangerous because she wasn't handled. It was very challenging. It was something that I used to do every day, but haven't had to do for a long time because of my own horses, being so well behaved, and we have the same language. We understand each other, so we kind of work together. And she's coming along really well now, but the first day when I went to work with her, she was running on top of me. She was rearing up and trying to get out of the situation, and she fell over a couple of times because we had a disagreement about stuff. And finally she accepted that she was going to work with me, and so we started working together. And I was there for about 6 or 7 hours on Sunday. And then on Monday I drove back. So the horse was actually about an hour and 15 minutes away. So every day that I went there to play with the horse, so Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I drove for 2.5 hours each day to go and do the work and then come back. So I went there on Monday. Everything was so much better, still a little bit dangerous, still not taking anything for granted, but she had accepted me as the person that she was going to be communicating with, which was fantastic. And then on Tuesday she was a lot better, like a lot better. We actually got her into the trailer, as in she walked into the trailer by her own choice, because we don't force horses, because especially with big horses, if you force them, because they can become so flighty, it just becomes really dangerous, and they can just run over you and really hurt you, injure you, or even kill you. I've seen it all in my years into this. So then yesterday she was comfortable with me, which was great. She was comfortable with the box, which was great, because that was the 3 days that, she got comfortable with the box. Yesterday, I sent the message to the seller, can you please not feed her in the morning? I'll be in at about 9 and I will feed her in the box. And that's what I did. And she saw the food and she was comfortable with the box. She was comfortable with me. She walked in and started eating. So then I did a couple of times, back and forth to get her off the off the trailer and back in, and then I closed the trailer and drove home. So what's something that I can do for hours and hours and hours and be totally inspired by it? Playing with horses and anything to do with horses and hanging out with horses like I'm doing right now. It's so relaxing for me, because when I was a child, the very first experience of the kind of sense of real true belonging I had was to sit on a horse. I knew that's where I belonged. So, horses! Okay, next question. What is something that you wish you could change about the world right now? Talk to us about something that happened in real life that inspired you to talk more about this topic. Okay, what is something that I wish I could change about the world right now? Well, I think the big thing that I am actually changing is the level of integration that people are given. Because, our childhoods are, there's a lot of, this is just such a big box to open, but I'll try and cover everything. Modern life doesn't allow us to really relate to, say, nature or, cause and effect. So if you have a plant that doesn't get water, it dies. We don't know where our food comes from. We don't understand what struggles or what work goes into just going to get a burger from a burger joint. We don't understand that anymore. And as a result of that moving further and further away from kind of natural way of life, we get more and more comfortable and more complacent. And when we get more and more comfortable and complacent, then what happens is that we teach our children to be complacent and comfortable, and they don't have like basic coping skills. And what growing up with not having like basic coping skills, or hadn't felt loved or hadn't felt a sense of belonging as a child, I grew up wanting for people to have that. And the courses that I've written, a lot of them are, this is a course I've written for my parents. I wish they would have studied this, and my childhood would have been different. Obviously I would also be different, so there's no regrets. But what I'm already doing that would change the world is helping people and showing people how to really integrate themselves, because there are generations, certainly from the 60s onwards. The 50s was still a lot more connected to kind of what's actually going on, but since the 60s there are generation after generation after generation that just have become more and more removed from the kind of the cause and effect of where your food comes from, for example, or the hard work of if you want to have plumbing, you dig a ditch, like those are the things. So we have generations upon generations of people who haven't been integrated into sensory things. They haven't been integrated into what it means to be creative. They haven't integrated into belonging to themselves as a part of nature, because we are an animal. We are a human being. We are a human animal. And so we need to make sure that we are also respecting that. And when we integrate ourselves, we integrate the two ways of collecting information. We integrate the sensory, the senses. Hello, Missy. Missy has come to say hello. There we go. Hello, Missy. When we integrate the senses, we understand what's going on around us, and how we integrate that within ourselves and what things mean. And also integrating the other information collecting part of you, the intuition, what could be happening. Just tapping into that and relaxing into that process through meditation is going to help you bring those two information collecting parts of you together, and that way you start to collect less biased information and more rounded information. And then the decision making, of course. So you need to be able to both think and feel, and you need to know what's authentic, what's harmonious. in terms of the feeling side of things, and on the thinking side we have what's accurate, what's actually true, and what's effective in life. So just bringing all those four things together is very important for us. We need to, if we had balanced decision making, and if we had balanced information collecting on which to base our decisions, our balanced decisions, then what would happen is that we would, as a whole human race, be able to, well, number one, resolve an awful lot of the problems that are going on right now that are ego driven. Number two, get past pure capitalism. I'm not saying capitalism is bad, but if capitalism is not balanced out with compassion and authenticity and harmony, and really looking after the people, it's not real capitalism. So we've gone into this whatever bastardized version of capitalism that it's all about the money. That's not actually what capitalism is, but we could move past that. We could have political security, globally even. There's an awful lot of things that would change if people were more integrated, but the main thing why I'm doing this work is because I want people to feel like they belong, feel like they are understood, heard and understood and validated, and from that space come together and create something incredible that maybe has never been created before. So I hope that answers that question. So what is something that you wish you could change about the world right now? Well, I am doing those things. I'm changing the world by teaching people how to integrate themselves, teaching integration mentor students, people who want to become mentors of integration, and they are already doing a fantastic job worldwide. We currently have 7 people who have qualified, and another 15, something like that, students that we're working with. So by the end of, in a year's time, we will have over 20 people helping others integrate their own lives all around the world. So that is my answer. Okay, finally, I find myself overthinking and very anxious when someone asks me to make a decision quick at work. Is there something that I can do to make it easier and less daunting for me? Okay, yes, there's plenty you can do, and that's the good news. The main thing when you start to overthink and when you start to get anxious, the main thing to understand is that unless it's a life and death situation, you don't actually have to make a decision right now. You can take a step back and have a little think about the decision that you're about to make. And the decision-making criteria should be, number one, is this decision or proposal going to be authentic for me? Am I willing to put my name on this proposal? Number two, is this harmonious for myself and other people around me? Is it going to serve a purpose that's going to bring people more together? Number three, is the proposal that I'm about to put forward accurate? Is it actually true? And number four, is this proposal that I'm about to put forward effective? Is it going to give us an effective experience where we don't kind of spin our wheels in the mud? And when you get to the point where you're able to consider all those 4 parts, then what will happen is that you'll make a good balanced decision. Now, you won't initially make a good balanced decision quickly, because like anything else, making good decisions is actually a discipline and a skill. And by discipline, I don't mean you're disciplined, as in there's something wrong with you and you need to be disciplined. What I mean is that it's a thing that you have to practice. You have to, do every day or every time you're asked for a decision, that you learn to do this new approach where you say, is this authentic to me? Is it harmonious for other people? Is this actually true? And is this effective to what the end goal that we're trying to achieve? Now, the challenge with this is that we often think that when we get new piece of information like this, that now we should just be able to do it straight away perfectly. you won't be doing it straight away perfectly. You need to fail forward with it. So you need to just take as much time as you can to try and consider those 4 criteria. Or if you have to make a decision on a short term, just try and fulfill as many of those criteria as you possibly can, depending on what is right for you, what's true for you, like what's the right thing for you. Remember, whenever you make a decision, you've just taken an ownership of something, and it means that if you're making a decision, then you're going to have to stand behind it. So only you can know which criteria out of, you know, the authenticity, the harmony, the accuracy, and the effectiveness do you feel if you don't have time to step back and try and fulfill all the different criteria. So if you're only using a couple of those criteria, it's very easy to get overthinking and anxious, because you kind of know that you're not making a good decision, and you might even feel pressurized into making a decision that you're not ready to make. So my challenge to you is ask time to just step back from the situation and say, leave it with me for a couple of minutes and I'm going to come back to you. Or leave it with me for half an hour, I'm going to come back to you. Leave it with me for a day and I'm going to come back to you. So depending on what the timeline is. And if you're already good at, knowing these different parts of you, if you already know that these are all great strengths for you, then that's fantastic. Go there and start practicing asking those questions of yourself. However, if you're not, if you feel like you're listening to this and you're saying to yourself, I wouldn't even know where to start, then the best way to start is to check out the 4 People Within course, because that is all about making the right decisions for you. Okay? So the 4 People Within course, you can find it from merjasumiloff.com, and it will show you who are the different people that are within you, where you have your strengths, where you have your weaknesses or your challenges, and how to integrate all of those different parts of you so that you're actually able to make really good decisions about your life. So if you are already really good at those different aspects, authenticity, harmony, accuracy, and effectiveness, fantastic. Just practice making the decisions, practice stepping back and saying, is this authentic to me? Is this harmonious for everybody? Is this accurate? Is it actually true? Is this the most effective way of doing things? And if the answer to all of those things is yes, then you go ahead and you do that. You make that decision or that recommendation. And as I said, if you're struggling with any part of decision making or any part of those parts of you, then please check out the 4 People Within course. Or if you already have the 4 People Within course and you want to talk in more detail about your challenge, then go on over, send us an email at desk@merjasumiloff.com and request a complimentary exploration call with one of our fully qualified mentors. So if you haven't already done a complimentary exploration call with one of our qualified mentors, just send us an email with your time zone, your best times to talk, and your full name, and we will get to it. But please note, these mentors are doing this work pro bono. There is nothing in it for them to do it with you. They will be there for you, so please don't mess them around, because we will blacklist anyone who's messing people around. Okay, so remember to share our content if you find it helpful. This video will be on YouTube as well as here in the Facebook group. And I would also love to hear some feedback on what I talked about today. Was it helpful for you? Do you know someone who is also struggling with similar problems? Let them know about our groups on Facebook, and even, just click the like button on YouTube if that's where you are. Subscribe to our channel and share the videos, and just let them know about all the resources that we have available, because we have an amazing supportive community to help both yourself and anybody else in your life that might be struggling. So thank you very much for watching today. I'll see you at the next live Q&A session. Have a great day.